Dun, 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 dun. Hello, everybody. All right. So sorry, I'm feeling a little bit sick. All right, welcome back to another day of learning low-level programming. Today we're going to do something. We're going to write some C code, right? We're actually going to move from the basic stuff we've been doing. I think in the previous chapter we learned about how to run C programs. We understood how C programs are run, right? We looked at the different stages of compilation of C program. I think I had it somewhere here, and I have now. Just wait a minute. You know what? I'll just create a. Let me bring it here. I'll create a Google Docs and type everything inside of the Google Docs. So we have docs here, and let's open Google Docs. So here's what we have. I'll just move this to the side a little bit, and then we can increase the font here so it looks good. Okay, so we have 4 stages. Okay, let me just remove this. We have 4 stages. Okay, the font is still small, so let's bring this up a little bit. I think, yeah, I'll increase this to like 60. We have 4 stages of compilation. The first one being the pre-processor stage. Pre-processor, right? We have the pre-processor. We have the compilation stage. We have the assembly stage, and last but not least, the linking stage, right? So these are the different stages your C program goes through in order to create a runnable version of your code. So say for example, let me just go into this thing here, and then we have YouTube, and we go to CDBTS. Okay, so we want to check here. Okay, sorry about that. I had a little bit of cough. Okay, we are back again. So here you can see we have about okay, so I created this BTS file to show you the different stages of compilation, right, of a C program. Now we use the GCC compiler to compile our C code. So first of all, you write your C code, and then it goes through these stages. When you run I think GCC, when you run GCC -o, and then the name of your C file. You know what, let's quickly do that. I'll ls to this. You can see we have a bunch of hello files here. So what we can do is we'll go to, I'll create a different C file, and I'll be using Vim, right? I'm also learning Vim alongside this. I'll be using Vim to, you know, write the C code, right? So, of course, if you can use any other code editor, that's fine. But I'll be making use of Vim in this one. So I say Vim. I'll just call this chapter 2, right? Or chapter 3.c. Okay, now our file is opened in Vim, so we can then proceed to write our code, right? So just hold on a minute. I need to okay, copy link. All right, so I'm just trying to share some of this link quickly. Just wait a minute. We have like a few all right, I'll just come in. Let me set this up. All right, so let's write some C code. Now I make use of this this document here. It's a really nice piece of tutorial, let's put it that way, or document that somebody has written, you know, explaining C and how C works. So I'll be making use of this. Now you can see this line here, right, is called the preprocessor, right? This preprocessor, this is the preprocessor directive anyway. The preprocessor allows you to include the file, and this header file contains code that has been pre-written by somebody else for you to use in your program. So for example, if I did this, I say okay, let's go into insert mode. So we are using Vim, right? So Vim has two modes. It has the command mode and the normal mode. So we are in the insert stage. So let's write some C program. So include stdio.h. Now this is the header file that will get some of the function we'll be making use of in our program. So now you write a function. This is an entry function. This is where your program starts running from. This is where the compilation of your program happens, right? So it starts from this place and then it goes. So you write a function. Now if you are familiar with any other programming language, you'll be able to recognize this pattern. I mean the curly braces after this parenthesis here. So let's just write a simple program. So we'll say printf hello, welcome to chapter 3. So we'll end this program here, and yes, so we exit Vim. Now we need to write this file to our disk so that it gets created and it exists on our system. So to do that, you just put :w. You first of all need to escape the insert mode and you come into the command mode, and then you do this. So yeah, we have that. The next thing you need to do is to compile this file. First of all, let me just show you that this file has been created. So I'll just come here and click on ls. Sorry. Now this will list the file in this directory, and you can see chapter3.c has been created. So let's open it back in Vim. Okay, our code is still there. So let's compile this. So since we are writing a command, right, this is not a normal test. You need to start with an exclamation mark followed by the command you want to run. So we'll be running the compilation command, which is this command here, gcc output into a new file called hello, the compiled version of the hello.c file, right? This is what this command means, and you can read through this document to actually understand what's happening here. So we write gcc-o, and then I'll call this file chapter 3, right? Without the file extension, you just give it a name, and then we put chapter 3.c. all right, so let's run this, and you can see we did not have any errors, and it just shows us print enter or type command to continue. So press enter. I'll just press enter, and then we are back here. So let's exit Vim, right? I'll quit Vim, and then we will run the command here. So let's just clear, and then when you list the files in this directory again, you'll see that chapter 3 has been created, and you can see it's in green, right? It doesn't have any extension. However, it is the compiled version, the runnable version, the file that will run in order to see what our chapter 3.c file does. So let's run it. So to run that, you simply need to point to the directory where it is. So currently it's in the bts folder, so I'll just put this simply means the current directory, and then I'll just put chapter 3, and then run this file. Now you can see hello, welcome to chapter 3 has been printed, but this looks a bit ugly, so we need to make this particular line come to a new line. So let's move this. So we need to go back and modify our code again. So I'll say vim chapter 3.c, right? And then we'll come back here. So we'll go to the fourth line, and you can use Vim combination, key combinations to move your cursor about. So I'll just move it to this line here. So I'll press 4, and then capital letter G, and then to move the cursor to the fourth line. And if I want to move towards the end of the line, I can just press the $sign. Okay, you can see the cursor has moved. If you want to move to the right, to the left, you press H, right? If you want to move to the left, you press L. And then A will put you in insert mode and ready to insert some character at a particular position. So I'll just come here. I don't want to put it there, so let me bring it here. And then I'll put a new line, right? So after this is printed to the command line, right, a new line will be created, and you will see it properly written on the screen. So let's first of all exit Vim, and then we come back here. We write, first of all we write, and then we quit Vim. Okay, so let's clear this, and then I will run the code again, chapter 3. But now you notice there isn't any difference, right? Nothing happened. The reason why this remained the same is because we did not compile the code. So I'll need to compile the code again to be able to run it, right? So let's go back to Vim chapter. You know what? You don't even need to compile. We don't even need to compile it inside Vim. We can also write the code. The compilation command here. So gcc-o. I think we called the other file chapter, right? -o chapter 3. chapter 3 and then the name of the C file that we want to compile, chapter 3.c. All right, so let's run this. Like you can see, we did not have any errors. And then when we run the chapter 3 file again, which is the compiled version of the code, then you will see the outputs properly printed. Now you can see this brings it to a new line and everything is nicely displayed in the terminal. So let's clear this screen again. Okay, I typed that command wrongly. Okay, all right, so the things I have prepared for today is to basically go through the basics of C, learning stuff like what variables are, writing of functions. We can write functions as well. We'll also be able to do like some basic stuff, conditional statements, loops, right? We'll run a little bit of I will probably do like a small exercise at the end of this, so to actually test our knowledge. So let's clear this again, and then we'll go back to, so let's ls again. So we have all these files here. I'll actually create a new folder called chapter 3. So fkdir chapter 3. So every time I stream, I'll create a new folder so that it's easy for me to know the level I have reached. Sorry about that. Chapter 3. Okay, so this will create a directory for me. Okay, yeah, there's another file here. You know what, I'll just delete those files. So rm remove chapter 3. Sorry, it's been long I typed on this keyboard, so I'm missing my fingers. All right, so let's take a look at this. Hold on a bit, I need to all right, so let's do this. Okay, we move this one here. Oh. Sorry, I need to fix this too quickly. All right. Sorry, I'm not feeling too well today. Okay, so let's remove this file, chapter 3. We'll also remove chapter 3.c, right? So when you come here, you no longer see those files, and then we'll be able to now create chapter 3 folder. Now you can see we have the chapter 3 folder created, and then we can start writing some basic C programs. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll create what do you call it? We'll create a file. I'm not going to call this file hello, because we'll do a lot of things in that file. So we'll just move to this part of this document here. So let's go to context to the next. Okay, so we are here now. We are going to cover variables and statements, and the first thing we will need to do is variables. Now, I actually mentioned at the beginning of this stream, when I even started it, that this course, I mean, this stream will, will require you to at least have a little bit of experience with coding uh, in any language at all, right? So you should at least be familiar with topics like variables, how to create variables, the different conventions for creating a variable. You don't have to know the different types, because types in C are something different that are not really common in every other language. For example, JavaScript does not have types. Now you can argue that TypeScript does, but TypeScript is it's not JavaScript, right? Even though it's a type support for JavaScript, TypeScript is still not. If you had learned JavaScript without TypeScript, you would still not understand types, right? And types exist in C, so we'll be making use of the existing concepts that we had from other programming languages that we learned, and then we'll just be able to like breeze through these smaller topics up until the point where we start learning about more difficult stuff, right? So variables, basically variables are like storage for storing a certain kind of information, like the for example, okay, let's write some code to actually see it in action. So I'll create a new file. So vim, I'll call this index.c, index.c, and then let's write so our preprocessor directives. Sorry, you can see vim was shouting at me that I wasn't in insert mode. Sorry. Include stdio.h, and then you can start with the function definition. Now this it means this function will return an integer or a number, if you will, but we can still choose not to return anything. Well, I'm not sure if you can do something like this. I've not tried this. So let's say if you do void main, right, it means you will not return anything. This function does not return anything. So I'll just do printf hello. Sorry, let's just try this first of all. Hello, hello void. Let's do it like that, and I'll come here and this line, which means I can choose not to return anything, right? Which is what I've been doing with it anyway. But let's see if void will actually work. So I need to exit, go to command mode, and write this file. So compile it. So gcc -o, we'll call this file index here, and then index.c. Okay, something is going on. Hold on, let's exit vim again. Oh, we did not move to our actual folder. All right, so let's see here. What I would do is I will cd. How do you move a file from one directory to another inside vim? I mean inside Linux anyway, like the command line. So let's see how to let me find out. I can come here, see how to move file from one folder one folder from folders inside add Ubuntu. how to move files to folder. Okay, so what does it say? It say MV. Okay, so move. Okay, so you can say MV index. Okay, dot C. The directory name, I want to move it to chapter 3. Okay, so let's say ls. Now we no longer have includes here. I mean the index file here, index.c. So now we can cd into the chapter 3, and then index should be there. Yep, our index file is here. So we can now compile this file and run the code inside of it. So let's do that now. So I'll say clear this file and run gcc index. Okay, gcc -o outputs the index or index.c. Okay, we did not have any errors, so let's clear this and run index here. Now you can see hello void. So if you put void in front of the main function, it still works. So let's open. Okay, let's open the index file, index.c in vim, and then we can now start writing our functions. No, we can start creating variables, sorry. So these are some rules for creating variables. I've left the link to this particular website in the description, so you can also take a look and see what actually is happening there. You can read through to see the different topics the guy what's his name, I don't remember. I think it's BJ's guide to C programming. All right, so let's move on. So we have different variable types: integer, floating points, character, which is like this, and then strings, right, which are longer forms of character. So character is like a single character, floating point is number with decimal place, and integer is just like a whole number, right? So I'm just going to move this here. Okay, I think I wrote something down for Vim. I can't remember now how to delete an entire line, right? So to delete an entire line, you press D and $sign. Okay, yeah, I think I remember. So you press D and the $sign. Well, that did not work the way I expected it to, so I'll just press H to move to the right. I think you have to be at the beginning of the line to be able to do that, so I'll just press D and then $sign. Yep, so it worked. Okay, so let's move on to the next stage. Okay. So we'll create some variables, right? And then we'll begin to add some values inside of the variables we created. I'll just go to insert mode. I usually like to move. I usually use tabs instead of spaces to just indent my code a little bit. So now the convention for creating variables in C is first of all the type of variable it is. It can be an integer, a floating point, character, or a string, and there are many more, right? So first of all, you add the C type. So for example, if I want to create an integer, I can put int followed by the name of my variable. I can call it first num, and then I can just say this is 2, right? So you always end a line of code in C with a semicolon. right? This just tells the program or the compiler that this code ends here. So the interpretation of this code will stop at this point. So let's just do this, and then we can print out the variables. So let's say print. So there is a way you print variables in C. So if the variable is of a certain type, you can use some characters. So for example, for float, I think is you can put like a percentage sign and F, which means print a floating number, first num. But first num is not a float number, a floating number. So we can just say first num here, right? We can just move this here, put int. I think for int is D, right? Let's just quickly verify that. So S for string character, I is percentage D. So I is an integer here. You can see it here. So we have an integer, and then you put the name of the variable here. So they are different. If you read through this part here, you can see if it finds a, right, a percentage D, it looks like the next parameter that as we pass. It looks to the next parameter that has been passed and prints its output as an integer. If it finds a percentage F, it prints the value as a float, and if it's S like this, it prints the value as a string. So you can also do the same thing here. I'll just come back to this side here. Okay, let's actually run this first and see what's going to happen. Okay, I'll just add some text in front of it. This is our integer, right? And then here I'll just put this and print it into a new line after outputting the content. Is this how I'm supposed to do it? I think if I did it this way, it will just print here this part on the new line, and then this on a separate line as well. How many parameters can you pass into the print function? Let's see. If the compiler screams, then we can now change it. So let me just put it here like this. Yep. I'm not sure how this will work, but let's see what happens. Okay. Alright, so let's write this file. I will skip, come here, write, and then write. Let's compile this code. So GCC, I can just run the same. Okay, GCC dash O index, and then index dot C. Okay, now you can see this. There is an error. So too many arguments forward. Okay, so we actually passed more than we should. So let's see. We actually passed more arguments into printf than we should. Printf only takes 2 arguments, I think, maximum 2. So let's move to the end of line 5. Just come here, and then H to the right, and then L back here, and just delete everything else. So I just press X. Okay, this will actually delete stuff to the right of the cursor. We don't want that, so I'll press U to move it back. Let me just go into insert mode and then do the deletion from here. Later on, I'll learn about how to make deletions of multiple words inside of Vim. So we have first num printed here, and Okay, I actually did read the error correctly. What the error was actually saying is different from. Okay, you know what? Let's just continue with this. Okay, I was wrong. We don't need that. So escape, right, and then here GCC. So we compile this again. So now this time around there's no error. So we can come here and run this code again to see what the output will be. So let's do this. So say exclamation mark / index, right? Now you can see this is our integer 2, but then there is also shell return 22. I'm not sure what this is. In fact, the reason why I'm even doing this, I've not actually seen it here. So let's quit Vim. Let's clear this and write the code here. I mean, we can just do index here. Okay. So there was actually, that was a default behavior of running a program in Vim. But here you can see, even though the integers content is attached or appended to the string here, we still haven't been able to, output this on the new line. So I was wrong about the way I thought of this. So let's clear this again, and then let's go into Vim. We can say Vim index.c, and then instead of doing it this way, so let's move word by word with W, and okay, if you press E, you're supposed to go back, right, with E. I'm not sure what just happened, but okay. So here, this second parameter here, this first num here, is actually it is not there's this thing in Python, I've forgotten the name, where you can include variables inside the normal string, right? Let me find out the name again. I think it's string. Is it string interpolation? String. Okay, that's the here. Interpolation in Python or string formatting. Yes, it's called string interpolation. So something like this is what's happening, right? So in reality, we can actually break our line here, right? We can actually go to a new line. So sorry, let's just move this here a little, and then yeah, so this is string interpolation in C. So you basically pass in the second variable like this. If you are printing out in the command line, I think that's what I think. So let's get out of this. I can escape, quit. Okay, we need to write it first, and then we can now quit Vim. I think if you do WQ, you write a quit Vim at the same time. So let's just clear this, and then let's run the program again. Okay, the same thing is happening because we haven't compiled it. So let's compile it now. So press GCC -O, and then we'll run the Vim. I think sorry, we'll run index and then index.c. like this. Now the compilation was successful. Now we can see the content of this file here. Now you can see it's no longer printed on the same line. This part here is no longer printed on the same line. We have it on a separate line from our actual output, right? So let's move on to the next stage. I mean, we can create other variables like this. So let me just open this function file in Vim again, and then we will create even. So let's move to line 4, and towards the end of line 4, G and then $sign. Okay, and then we can move towards here, append A, and then new line. So you can say for float decimal points number, so say float, I'll just put DC for short for decimal, 2.34. We'll have a character which is going to be simple, or I'll just call it single character, like this, and then we'll just put this. So you don't put this as a double quote, I guess you put them in single quote, and it has to be a single character, right? A single alphabetical character. So, and now let's say we want to print all of this at the same time, right? So one thing we can do is let's move back to the beginning of this file. Escape 0, we move to the beginning, delete this line, so D and then $sign. Okay, now insert mode, move to this side, and I'll say I'll type print F. I mean, if you want, I'll show you another trick, something really useful that you can do. So you can move your cursor to this point, right, and then type CI, the first bracket, and then it will delete everything and automatically put you in the set mode to insert something new inside of this printf. So we can say it is, and then we'll put it here like this. I think it is I, right, or D. It is D, sorry, yeah, it's D, and then it is, and then we move to the next word. I mean, this is still a string, so we can just keep doing this, or you simply do, so let's print each one of them on a new line, and we can say float is this word, so $F, and new line again. We can say character is single. Okay, we don't need to do it that way, so we just put percentage sign and I think S, right? Or what do you put? What do you use? Is it C? It's not C. Okay, let's just leave it as S for now, and now we can now pass in the corresponding values for each one of these representations here. So the first one will be first num, right? The second one, I think, do you add them like this? Let me just be sure. Oh yeah, you can do that. So the second one will be float, which is DEC, and then the third one will be char, like this. So sorry, it will be single char. Okay, we are done with this part, so let's escape theme, write this file wq. Okay, let's write this again. I'll actually move back to this point here. Let's say E. You see the small letter E that moves the cursor backwards. I can't remember now, so let's just move back up with K, and then here, okay, let's move back down. Okay, so this word, you can put like 3 words, so you to move 3 words forward, and then let's go to this part here. So after printing this, we want to insert a new line at this point so that everything is nicely formatted. Okay, sorry guys, I have code, so I need to be ending the stream soon. So we don't need this part here, so let's remove this. Escape, WQ, right, and quit Vim, and that's it. So we compile it again. GCC, where is it? I've run the command already. Okay, there's an error. What does it say? It say index warning, format as expects argument of type char. Okay, so this char with the star sign, not normal char, but arguments 4 has type int. Really, how do you print? Okay, let's see. Char formats specifier in C. Okay, it's C actually. So let's go to vim index.c, and then you can move to fit line. Okay, let's move down a little and back up by pressing K, and then let's move like 5 words. 5W like this. Wow. Okay, this is 8W. Okay, at the right position. So we can say append and then move here. We can bring C. I think it's C. Yeah, so let's escape this. Come here, write a quit, and then let's do this again. Okay, now our code has been successfully compiled, so we can now run the code down here. Okay, you can see it says int is 2, float is this. I don't know why he added a bunch of zeros to it. I'm not sure I did that. And the character is C. Hold on, did I actually add zeros to my character? Well, I guess if that's not the case, then I guess C automatically does that for you, because probably the float type has to have like a certain number of decimal place. Yeah, you can see I did not have that. So anyways, I'll continue on another day. Sorry, my health is not really good now, and we shall talk again. Bye.